Here is another tip for those of you who are going to be building stairs for a wood deck. And you're going to be running the lumber in this direction so that the front part of it will be used as the last step on the set of stairs. And that would be to avoid using center cut lumber. You can see here where the center of the tree is in almost every one of these pieces of lumber. And for those of you who don't know much about lumber, the center of the tree is probably the worst part you can have in a piece of lumber because it will cause it to bow, twist, or cup. And what we're dealing with here is the lumber cupping. And you're not going to have that with composite lumber. It's probably not going to happen. And if for whatever reason you can't find lumber without any center cuts in it, then you should consider at the very least using more than one screw or nail like they did here. For example, on 2x6 decking material like this, I like to use 2 nails or 2 screws spaced about 3/4 of an inch away from the edge. And that can, at the very least, reduce the chances of it cupping or eliminate it happening entirely. In this video, I just want to give you an example of what your stairs might look like if you're watering them with your sprinklers. And I do realize that some of you do realize what they're going to look like, but this video isn't for you. It's for the people who don't know what it's going to look like if you continue to water your stairs. Now, here's a set of stairs that was watered for at least a year by a sprinkler that was attached to a hose, and that sprinkler could have been moved. Just like this one, if a little more thought and planning went into the design and layout of the lawn sprinkler system. So let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the damage here. We have a tread that is damaged along with the side of the stairway, and it looks like we have some type of a fungus growing on it. And you can see where it wouldn't have been that long before the rest of the stairway would have ended up looking like the right side of the lower step in this stairway either. And if we take a look at the back of the stairs, you can see where we got something growing on the inside. And once we remove the lower step, we can get a better look at the damage that's underneath that step also. And now that you have a pretty good idea what happens to wood, whether it's underneath indoor or outdoor carpeting or part of your beautiful wood deck, then you should have enough sense to prevent any part of your outdoor stairway from getting wet if you can avoid it at any cost. Here is another question from one of our viewers who had a contractor build the stairway a little bit lower than it should have been, and is now dealing with a puddle of water surrounding it whenever it rains. And in reality, you do have a few choices. You can regrade the property to allow the water to drain somewhere if you possibly can, or you can set up side drains if that'll help. But if it doesn't, here's another option. You can just simply remove the lower step or remove the lower 2 or 3 steps, whatever you need to remove, and install a concrete landing or even a sidewalk. But either way, if you can somehow raise any part of the stairway built out of wood or even metal that is going to rot or rust, then something like this just might solve your problem. Now, there's something else I need to point out for some of you who might be living in areas where it snows and you're dealing with frost lines in the soil that could cause the concrete to heave or move upward or even get pushed around to create a variety of different problems for your stairs. So if you cannot use concrete, but you can use gravel or another product that you might be able to enclose with some wood forms that could be firmly attached to the soil using wood or metal stakes, then something like this might solve your problem. So again, if you can't regrade the property, or it's going to be too expensive to regrade the property, or you can't install site drainage because those could freeze in the wintertime also, or you just don't have anywhere to drain to, then something like this just might work. And I would be glad to hear from any viewers who might have a better suggestion to prevent water from pooling around exterior stairs. And thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, let us know by hitting the thumbs up button or letting us know in the comment area.